The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. Shadows stretched long and thin across Maple Street, as if trying to reach out and touch the last rays of sunlight. A hush fell over the once vibrant neighborhood, the kind of silence that felt almost tangible, wrapping itself around the houses and streets. The air, usually alive with the sounds of children playing, was strangely still. The playground, once a hub of laughter and joy, now stood empty and forlorn. An unsettling quiet had settled over the town of Hollow Creek, a quiet so profound it seemed to seep into the very bones of the town. It was the kind of silence that made the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. Something was wrong, something unseen but deeply felt. The old oak tree at the end of the street swayed slightly, even though there was no wind. Its movement was almost hypnotic, drawing the eye and unsettling the mind. Its gnarled branches, like skeletal fingers, seemed to beckon towards the deepening twilight, as if inviting the darkness to come closer. The setting sun cast the houses in long shadows, twisting their familiar shapes into something sinister. The once comforting outlines of home now appeared menacing and strange. The quiet felt heavy, laden with unspoken fear. It was as if the town itself was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen, something that everyone sensed but no one could see.
Sighs. The unease in the air is palpable.
Emma sat on her porch swing, her book lying forgotten in her lap. Her gaze drifted to the empty swing set across the street. It had once been a vibrant hub of activity, filled with the joyous screams of children. Now, it stood eerily silent. The news had spread like wildfire through the normally peaceful town. Children had gone missing, snatched away without a trace. Whispers of a sinister clown with eyes that glowed in the dark haunted their waking hours. The adults tried to maintain a facade of normalcy, but beneath the surface, fear simmered. Emma was taking out the trash one evening when she saw him. A flash of garish colours at the edge of her vision. She turned, heart pounding.
Gasps. Oh my God!
He stood under the flickering streetlight, a grotesque parody of joy. His face was a mask of white makeup, a cruel caricature of a smile painted across his lips. His eyes, ringed with black, bore into her soul. They were devoid of warmth, reflecting a chilling emptiness that sent shivers down her spine. He didn't speak. He just stood there, his presence a tangible threat.
"You're imagining things, Jake," Emma's best friend scoffed. "It's just a bunch of kids trying to scare each other."
But Emma saw the flicker of doubt in his eyes. She knew the truth. This was something far more sinister.
Determined. Look at these news clippings, Jake. Other towns, similar disappearances, it's undeniable.
She showed Jake the news clippings she'd collected, the stories of other towns plagued by similar disappearances. The pattern was undeniable. The clown always appeared just before the children vanished. A creeping dread settled over them. They had to do something.
They found the entrance hidden beneath the old abandoned carnival at the edge of town. The carnival had been closed for decades, its once vibrant colors now faded, and its joyful sounds replaced by an eerie silence.
A trapdoor concealed by overgrown weeds led down into the darkness. It was as if the earth itself had tried to swallow the secrets hidden below, but the trapdoor remained, a silent guardian of the past.
The air grew heavy, thick with the smell of decay and something faintly sweet. Sickly sweet. It was a scent that clung to the walls, a reminder of the life that once thrived here and the darkness that had taken its place.
Emma's hand trembled as she held her breath and descended the creaking wooden steps. Each step echoed in the silence, a haunting reminder of the unknown that awaited her below.
The basement was a labyrinth of forgotten dreams and nightmares. Shadows danced on the walls, and the air was thick with the weight of untold stories and hidden fears.
Dusty circus props loomed out of the darkness, their painted faces chipped and faded. They stood as silent witnesses to the passage of time, their once bright colors now muted and ghostly.
Discarded costumes hung limply on hooks, their shimmering sequins dull with age, Each costume told a story of a performer who once wore it, now long forgotten in the shadows of the past.
The air was thick with the silence of forgotten laughter and the ghosts of vanished dreams. It was a place where time stood still, and the echoes of the past lingered in every corner.
Emma could almost hear the echoes of children's screams, their joyful shrieks twisted into terrified pleas. The playground, once a place of joy, now stood as a haunting reminder of what had been lost.
A high-pitched giggle echoed through the darkness.
They whirled around, hearts pounding.
The clown stood at the end of a narrow corridor, his grin wider than before. He moved with an unnatural fluidity, his body contorting at impossible angles.
Panic surged through Emma.
He was toying with them, herding them deeper into his lair. They ran through a maze of distorted mirrors, their reflections twisted into grotesque mockeries of their fear. Each turn led to another dead end, another glimpse of the clown's grinning face. His laughter followed them, echoing off the walls, a constant reminder of their impending doom. The air grew heavy, thick with the scent of popcorn and fear. They stumbled into a vast underground chamber. A grotesque circus tent stretched above them, its canvas patched with shadows and secrets.
Children sat in rows, their eyes vacant, their faces pale. They were alive, but barely. Their laughter was hollow, devoid of joy.
In the center ring, bathed in the eerie glow of a single spotlight, stood the clown. He juggled gleaming knives, their blades catching the light. His smile was a gash of crimson against the stark white of his makeup. He was the puppet master, and these children were his puppets. Their terror fueled his power. Emma knew they wouldn't escape by force. The clown was too powerful, his presence overwhelming and his strength unmatched. She could feel the weight of his gaze, a chilling reminder of the danger they were in. She had to distract him, buy them some time. Taking a deep breath, she stepped into the light, meeting the clown's gaze with a defiance she didn't feel. Her heart pounded in her chest, but she knew this was their only chance.
She spun a tale, a fantastical story designed to pique his interest, to remind him of the world above. Her words flowed like a river, painting vivid pictures of lands far away, of adventures and dreams that seemed almost real.
For a moment it seemed to work. A flicker of curiosity crossed his painted face. His eyes, usually so cold and calculating, softened just a bit as if he was transported to another time and place.
Jake seized the opportunity, pulling Emma back into the shadows. They ran, their lungs burning, adrenaline propelling them forward. The streets were dark and twisted, but they didn't look back. Every step was a gamble, every breath a desperate plea for survival. The children's vacant laughter echoed behind them, a haunting soundtrack to their escape. It was as if the very walls were mocking their efforts, the eerie sound sending chills down their spines.
They emerged into the cool night air, gasping for breath, the taste of freedom bittersweet on their tongues. The night was silent, save for their ragged breathing, and the stars above seemed to shine a little brighter, offering a glimmer of hope in the darkness. The police arrived, sirens shattering the night. The children were rescued, their memories hazy, their eyes filled with a terror they couldn't quite articulate. But the clown was gone, vanished without a trace.
Life in Hollow Creek slowly returned to a semblance of normalcy. But the fear remained, a dark undercurrent beneath the surface.
The laughter of children still held a nervous edge. And sometimes late at night when the wind whispered through the trees, Emma could have sworn she saw a flash of garish colours at the edge of her vision. She could have sworn she heard a faint chilling giggle carried on the breeze.
The nightmare wasn't over, it was merely biding its time.